All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to say call halayim Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakah Quitash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who have taught me this truth and who rule well in this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel that is scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Peace and mercy unto you, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You are the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. You are the true chosen people of the book. All right, so I want to get into some news, man, to let you know what's going on. All right, because a few days back, I reported on it, man. All right, you may or may not know, all right, that Russian drones, all right, violated Poland's airspace, man. All right, so now you got Poland on high alert. All right, and now you got Russia and Belarus doing military drills now, man. All right, all these nations are coming together. All right, they're doing military drills. All right, nations are deploying troops. All right, they're readying for war, man. Why? Because war is coming. All right, World War III is coming, man. All right, because it's biblical prophecy. It's inevitable, man. Meaning it's bound to happen. Why? Because it's biblical prophecy. All right, this is the will of the Lord to bring all the nations together for World War III, man. All right, the Lord said that my word shall not return unto me void, and the true prophets and the true servants of the Lord, we've been prophesying this. All right, the true prophets and the true servants of the Lord being the Israelites of Great Millstone and the ones that teach in like manner. All right, we've been prophesying this, man, letting you know that war is coming, man. And now the prophecies are speaking for themselves, man. We ain't gotta speak too loudly anymore, man. Because it's speaking for us, man. Like the book of Habakkuk says, at the end it shall speak, man. All right, so let me get into this news, man, to let you know what's going on. I got this article here, and I also got this article here as well. All right, Iran's president urges Muslim nations to cut ties with Israel. Yeah, because that's the plan of the elites. This is what the elites want. This is their plan. All right, to bring very great conflict, all right, between the Muslim world and the Judaism world. All right, this is the plan of the elites. All right, they have a plan. They go by a plan that's known as the Albert Pike and Mazzini blueprint. All right, which the Albert Pike and Mazzini blueprint was a blueprint to create 3 world wars. And the third world war was to create conflict between the Muslim and the Judaism world. And that's how the rest of the world is going to be brought into this final conflict known as World War III. All right, because World War III is the war to end all wars. That's going to be the last final war. All right, because after that war, there's not going to be no more wars on earth. All right, when the true Israelites return back to the Holy Land, all right, which is you Negroes, you Latinos, you Native Americans, all right, and the other Israelites, the elect Israelites, all right, that are scattered throughout the 4 corners of the earth under the other nations, looking like the other nations. When they return to the Holy Land, the true Israelites, there's not going to be no more wars on earth. That's Isaiah the 2nd chapter. All right, so that's how we know that the people in the land of Israel today, they're not the real Israelites that the Bible speaks of. Because when the Israelites return back to the Holy Land, there's not going to be no more wars on earth. Israel, they're at war right now with many nations, man. Okay? Come on, man. All right, they have conflicts with many nations right now. They're at conflict with Iran right now. They're at conflict with Hamas in Gaza. All right, they just struck Qatar. But anyway, let's just get into these articles, man. All right, it says Poland deploys 40,000 troops to border as Russian Zapad drills put NATO on edge. You see? All right. It says Poland has deployed 40,000 troops to its eastern border as Russian and Belarus begin their Zapad 2025 military drills. All right. Yeah, when Yahweh Shai returns, bro, and the Israelites are in the Holy Land, all right, the true Israelites are in the Holy. There's not going to be no military drills, bro. Come on, man. All right. It says the move follows a Russian drone incursion, all right, with Warsaw warning of critical days, all right, you see? All right, and NATO on high alert over the offensive exercises, yeah, all right, because you had Russian drones that flew over Poland, man, all right. It says in a dramatic and muscular show of force on the tense eastern frontier of the NATO alliance, Poland has begun deploying approximately 40,000 soldiers to its borders with Belarus and Russia, Kaliningrad exclave. All right, a move that comes just days after Polish and Allied jets scrambled to shoot down multiple Russian drones. All right, and on the eve of Moscow's highly scrutinized Zapad 2025 joint military exercises. All right, the massive troop movement represents a significant escalation in a region already on knife's edge, transforming the Polish frontier into a heavily militarized zone as the war games, all right, which Warsaw has branded as uh, all right, offensive, officially commenced on Friday, all right. The Zapad or West exercises, all right, because that's what Zapad means, all right, West, all right. The Zapad or West exercises, a series of periodic joint maneuvers by Russian and Belarusian forces, all right, have long been a source of anxiety for NATO's eastern flank members, all right, who view them as a form of strategic intimidation, all right. This year's iteration, however, is being conducted under the dark shadow of the ongoing war in Ukraine and more immediately a serious violation of Polish airspace, all right. According to a report from TVP World, the heightened tensions, all right, and it's the Lord that's creating these tensions, man, because what is the Lord's will? All right, to bring all these nations together into the valley of Jehoshaphat so the Lord could plead with them there. All right, that's Joel, the 3rd chapter. All right, the heightened tensions, all right, followed a large scale drone incursion on Wednesday. Yeah, about a week ago. All right, it says which saw Polish and Dutch military aircraft, all right, take action to shoot down the Russian drones. The incident has lent a grave new weight to the drills, which are scheduled to run until Tuesday and will involve tens of thousands of troops conducting war games in close proximity to the Polish border. Yeah, bro, you got all these nations doing drills, bro. All these nations prepping for war, military drills. All right, things are happening, man. Things are moving. You know, man. All right. It says. It says. The incident. Wait, did I just read that? Yeah. It says the Polish government has made it clear that it is taking no chances. Poland has been preparing for the Zapad 2025 maneuvers for many months. All right. Cezary Tomczyk, a Polish deputy defense minister, all right, told broadcaster Polsat News. All right. It says he confirmed that in addition to the 40,000 strong deployment, all right, the Polish army has already conducted preparatory exercises involving over 30,000 Polish and Allied soldiers to ensure an adequate response. All right, let's remember that Zapad 2025 is an offensive exercise. All right, Tomczyk stated, echoing, all right, the deep-seated fears within the Polish leadership that the drills could be a precursor to Russian aggression toward NATO and EU countries. All right, this settlement is shared, all right, at the highest levels of the Polish government. All right, Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk has warned the critical days for this country, stating that Poland is closer to open conflict than at any point since the Second World War. Yeah, and this is going to be World War III. All right, so things are moving closer, bro. Nuclear missiles are going to fly very, very soon. Very, very soon, man. All right, Great War is on the horizon, man. All right, very close to this third world war and things popping off on a very high and great and grand scale, man. Bro, very great war is coming very soon, man. To the point where this entire earth, the people of this earth, man, are going to be very, very afraid, man. When you read Second Ezra, the 15th chapter, you know it goes into World War III, and it talks about how the people of this earth are gonna tremble in fear, all right, because of what's going on in the earth, all right, hearing about World War III, nuclear missiles being shot off, and millions and millions and millions of people dying in minutes. This whole earth is going to be afraid, man. All right. All right, so it says, matter of fact, let's get that real quick. Let's grab that real quick. All right, because I just don't want to say it, man. Let's prove it, man. All right, let's get Second Ezra's, the 15th chapter, and I think it's around the 37th verse, 35, 37. All right, yeah, all right. This is Second Ezra's 15 and 37. It says, "And there shall be great fearfulness and trembling upon the earth." Yeah, because of what's going on, man. War. All right, and there shall be great fearfulness and trembling upon the earth, and they that see the wrath shall be afraid, and trembling shall come upon them. Yeah, because when this whole earth is at war, when it's officially declared that World War III has popped off, and they hear nations and millions of people being bombed and dying, bro, this whole earth is going to fear, bro. They're going to see it on the news, hear it on the radio. All right, this third world war is going to be televised, man. All right, and there shall be great fearfulness and trembling upon earth, and they that see the wrath shall be afraid, and trembling shall come upon them. All right, come on, man. This whole earth is getting ready to tremble, man. We've been telling you that World War III is coming. We've been prophesying that World War III is coming. We've been letting you know that great war is on the horizon, man. We've been telling y'all this, man. All right, it says Foreign Minister, all right, Radoslaw Zikorsky added earlier this week that he expects very aggressive scenarios to be acted out by Russia and Belarus during the exercises, drawing ominous parallels to similar drills that preceded Russia's invasion of Georgia in 2008 and its full-scale attack on Ukraine. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky has also issued a warning suggesting that the Zapad maneuvers could be a cover for a potential assault on countries further west. All right. In response to the perceived threat, Warsaw has taken decisive action, announcing on Tuesday, even before the drone incident, that it would temporarily close the country's borders, crossings with Belarus, all right, for the duration of the Zapad exercises, all right? Yeah, man, so you see what's going on, man. All right, it says, following the airspace violation, the authorities in Warsaw hardened their stance, declaring that the border would now be closed until further notice. The Polish authorities have claimed that one of the primary goals of the Zapad drills is to rehearse an attack on the so-called Zawaki Gap, a thin and strategically vital strip of land that joins Poland and Lithuania, all right, Lithuania, but is sandwiched between Belarus and Russia's Kaliningrad enclave, all right? The area has been long described by military strategists as NATO's Achilles heel, all right? So you see what's going on, man. All right, to let you know what's happening. You can read the rest of this article if you like. All right, this is on K24. All right. So I also want to get into this other article. It says Iran's president urges Muslim nations to cut ties with Israel. Yeah, because you also just had Israel attack Qatar. All right, and I think Qatar is one of well, they hit Qatar, a main I think they hit the capital Qatar because they said they was aiming to kill Hamas leaders. All right, as you see right here, it says amid an unprecedented Israeli strike on Hamas leaders in Qatar. All right, Pezeshkian calls for Muslim nations to sever ties with Israel, urging unity and concrete measures against Israel. All right, ahead of the emergency summit in Doha. Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, Qatar is a ally to the U.S. and that's a Muslim nation, man. All right, that attack that Israel, all right, had in Qatar, all right, in Doha, that was a strike that came on from on high, all right, from the elites, all right, because all wars are bankers' wars, all right, and all the Rothschilds, they create all the wars, man. All right, they're the ones that give the green light. A country can't even attack another country, man, unless the elites give the say so, man. All right, and they also determine the outcome of wars as well. You know, that's the power that the elites have when it comes to these wars, man. All right, you read about that in a book called The World Order by Eustace Mullins, man. All right, and he would in all his research and his studies, all right, came from the Library of Congress, man, which is a prestige library, man. All right, you know, that was definitely an attack that came on from the elite bankers, man. All right, you know, Israel attacking Qatar. All right, Doha. All right, because the whole point is to bring very great conflict between the Muslim world and the Judaism world. All right, to create this third world war. That's how the rest of this earth, the nations of this earth, is gonna come into this third world war. All right, there's something that's known as the Albert Pike and Mazzini blueprint, which was a blueprint to create 3 world wars, which is a blueprint that the elites go by. All right, and the third world war was to be created by bringing conflict between the Muslim world and the Judaism world. All right, I bring that out all the time. All right, it says so let's read it, man. It says Iranian President Mossad Pezeshkian on Monday called on Muslim countries to sever relations with Israel as Arab and Islamic leaders convened in Doha for an emergency summit responding to an unprecedented Israeli strike on Hamas members in Qatar, according to AFP. Islamic countries may cut their ties with this fake regime. It is a fake regime, all right, because they're not the true Israelites that the Bible speaks of. All right, it was a fake nation, a fake state that was created, man. All right, it says Islamic countries may cut their ties with this fake regime and maintain unity and cohesion as much as possible. You see, the plan of the elites is working, man. All right, it's really, you know, the will of the Heavenly Father. All right, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, because He's the one that's doing this, man. All right, so His word could be fulfilled. All right, the Lord is bringing all these nations together for this third world war. You see how everything is happening and falling into place as we bring out this news to let you know what's going on, to let you know what time we're living in. All right, you know, it says Pezeshkian said before departing for the summit, expressing hope that the meeting would conclude on concrete measures against Israel. Yeah, all right, everybody is coming against Israel, all right, because everyone's waking up to these damn devils, man. You know, and also because Israel has to be engulfed and swallowed by nuclear fire so that land could be cleansed, because that land has to be cleansed before the true Israelites return back into the Holy Land. Okay, it says the strike carried out by a U.S. ally on the territory of another has drawn a wave of criticism across the region. Qatar's Prime Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdulrahman, all right, Al Thani urged the international community on Sunday to reject double standards, all right, and hold Israel accountable, all right, declaring that Israel's war of extermination in Gaza would not succeed, all right. You see? All right. What is encouraging Israel to continue is the silence, the inability of the international community to hold it accountable, he said. Yeah. All right. The emergency gathering hosted by Qatar, all right, is expected to include leaders such as Pezeshkian, all right, Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani, and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, all right. All right. It says Palestinian President um, Mahmoud Abbas arrived in Doha on Sunday. So all these all these Muslim nations and leaders are coming together, all right, against Israel. That's the whole point of this third world war. That's the Albert Pike and Mazzini blueprint. Come on, man. All right, when you read a book called Satan's Angels Exposed, it goes into that, man. And I've gone into that book many times showing y'all, man. All right. So it says in Doha on Sunday, while speculations remain over whether Saudi crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman will attend. All right. It says Qatar's foreign ministry said the summit will consider a draft resolution on Israeli attack on the state of Qatar. Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan told Al Jazeera, all right, Al Jazeera, all right, that Israel's actions had grown beyond the scope of Palestine-Israel conflict, all right, bro. I can't wait, man. Lord willing, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Rat as I am of the elect. I can't wait to see that place get annihilated, all right, eradicated, obliterated from off the face of this earth, man. All right, that's exactly what is going to happen in this third world war. All right, it says the biggest problem right now is Israeli expansionism in the region. He says, stressing that Arab and Islamic countries must present a unified response. Yeah, boy, this is exactly what the elites are hoping for. This is, come on, man. All right, this is it, bro. It's happening, bro. All right, observers, all right, believe Gulf states will use the summit to pressure Washington to rein in Israel. All right. All right. It says Elham Fakro, a fellow at Harvard's Middle East Initiative, told AFP leaders are likely to seek stronger U.S. security guarantees on the basis that Israel's actions expose the inadequacy of current assurance and have undermined U.S. credibility as a security partner. All right. Karim Bitar, all right, a lecturer at Sciences Po University in Paris, described the gathering as a litmus test for Arab and Muslim leaders, all right, with populations expecting a very important signal, not only to Israel, but also to the United States. All right, Qatar hosts the largest U.S. military base in the region and has played a key mediation role in the Israel-Hamas war. All right. Let me read that again. It says Qatar hosts the largest U.S. military base in the region and has played a key mediation role in the Israel-Hamas war alongside the United States and Egypt. Yet Israel's strike in Doha, which targeted Hamas leaders engaged in talks over a new U.S.-backed ceasefire plan, has complicated those efforts and strained Washington's position. Yeah. All right, they played a major part in ceasefire plans, and you just gonna attack them. Yeah, see, that's the plan. That's how you know that strike that Israel did on Qatar, that came from on high, man. All right, President Donald Trump, while sending Secretary of State Marco Rubio to Israel in a show of solidarity, all right, admitted his administration had been caught off guard by the strike. All right. Obviously, we're not happy about it. The president was not happy about it. Now we need to move forward and figure out what comes next. All right? So things are happening, bro. You can read the rest of this article, man. All right? So things are happening. Things are moving. Prophecy is taking place. All right? So, to let you know what's going on, to let you know what time we're living in, to let you know that prophecy is moving, man. All right? Prophecy is speaking. At the end it shall speak, man. All right, so with that being said, I want to say, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Ratazah, this lesson was edifying, man. All right, you know what's going on now. All right. I want to say, Call Halalyum, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Bahashim, Rakal Quitash. All right. On to the next one. Shalom, shalom.